What is Alzheimer's disease? Well, Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia. Dementia is a group of symptoms that are related to cognition. And there are over 400 different types of dementias, and Alzheimer's takes up the biggest percentage of all dementias. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of what Alzheimer's is and why you should be thinking about it in your 30s and 40s. Hi again, it's the next day. Yesterday we had the potential for snow this week, and today it's raining and quite mild. That's the beauty of beautiful British Columbia. That's why we have such lush green forests, because it rains a lot here. I'm going to go over some basics of what Alzheimer's disease is, and if you're not interested in this topic about dementia and Alzheimer's disease, then this video is not for you. But if you have somebody in your family that suffers from some type of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's disease or even vascular disease, then some of this might be of interest to you, or you can share it with them. I'll also have a link to my blog post, which will have a little bit more detail in there if you want to look through that or share it with somebody. So Alzheimer's disease is just one type of dementia. Dementia is a category of a bunch of different symptoms. So dementia is a term used for memory loss, issues and problems with language, difficulty problem solving, and other thinking issues that start to impact daily living. Alzheimer's, though, is the biggest category of dementias. It takes up about 60 to 80% of the cases of dementia. The next one is vascular dementia. Vascular dementia is a type of dementia where the blood vessels are not intact, and what happens is there's a decrease of blood flow. So somebody that has coronary artery disease, lipid dysfunction, when you have plaques building up in your blood vessels, the blood flow decreases, and that can happen all over your body, including your kidneys, your heart, and your brain. So that's vascular dementia. And all the things that are related to Alzheimer's prevention will benefit somebody with vascular dementia also. The thing with Alzheimer's, though, is that it starts years and decades before you ever see the first sign. So that's why it's really important that if you have someone in your family, like a parent, an aunt, uncle, or grandparent with Alzheimer's disease, or even if it's a dementia that was never diagnosed, because that happens a lot, that you actually look at your lifestyle and make changes in your lifestyle habits that will go on to help you prevent these types of things. But it has to start early, because once the damage is done to a severe extent from Alzheimer's, it's irreversible. But even if you have mild cognitive impairment, when you're starting to see problems, there's still chance for slowing down the progression and even reversing some of those symptoms. Diagnosing Alzheimer's disease. There's not one specific test. I know when my mom had Alzheimer's, we took her to the doctor. We saw the signs. Her dad had it. Her sister was diagnosed with it. Sorry about that. I got interrupted, but where was I? I was going to say that there's no one specific test for Alzheimer's disease, and a lot of people are never even really formally diagnosed with it, because they just start seeing the symptoms and they rule out that it's not another medical condition that can be treated. For instance, for my mom, there's a family history. Her dad had Alzheimer's, her sister had Alzheimer's, and then the next one had Alzheimer's. So we pretty well knew it was coming. So we did go to see the doctor. We opted out of doing a CT scan and any scans of her brain. We just did some blood work and things because my mom was forgetting to eat, so she was losing a lot of weight. She looked like somebody that could have cancer, for instance. So we wanted to rule out that there wasn't any infection, any urinary tract infection, anything that could be treated, any vitamin deficiency, anything like that. So the medical doctor would take a medical history and kind of rule out the surface level things, and then maybe even delve into more deficiencies and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with going further and deeper into these, medical exams. But for my mom, by the time that we were looking at it, her disease had progressed quite a bit. But it is important that you get something done, because for people that are a little bit older, I hate saying elderly because I'm almost getting there. When you're elderly or more mature, even a simple thing like a urinary tract infection can cause a lot of confusion. And vitamin deficiencies. So it's really important to make sure that there's nothing going on that can be treated. Okay, so I'm going to be putting together a course that's related to preventing Alzheimer's disease. If you're interested in knowing when it's ready and available, I've got a link to a kind of a wait list down in the description box. So put your name there if you're interested. If it's not for yourself, or maybe it's for somebody else, then you'll be the first to know when the course is available. I wish that the research that has been done in the last 10 years and the information that's available was around 15 years ago. Sadly, it wasn't, and my mom ended up dying a few years from this. And did my two aunts, and long years ago, my grandfather died from it also. There seems to be 4 things that really affect if you're going to get cognitive issues, a type of dementia. And these things include inflammation in your body, oxidization, glucose dysregulation, and lipid dysregulation. So I'm just going to quickly kind of give you the basics on it. There's a lot of information you can look into about these things, but I'll give you kind of a general idea what they mean. Inflammation seems to be one of the main causes of Alzheimer's disease. And inflammation actually causes so many problems in your body. Most chronic diseases, there's inflammation. Inflammation is, for example, if you had a paper cut or if you have a hangnail and you get that redness and that little bit of swelling and it's painful. That's your body increasing blood flow and all the fighter cells going in there to attack any kind of foreign body virus, bacteria that is all of a sudden gotten in through the integrity of your skin. It's the body's self-defense mechanism. And when it's working well, inflammation fights for your body to keep it healthy. But when it goes wrong, then what it does is it turns in on itself and starts attacking healthy cells. Chronic inflammation that is caused by a poor lifestyle, diabetes, various other conditions, causes your cells, your fighting cells, your soldier cells that look after your body to turn in on itself. So that is a leading cause of Alzheimer's disease and even other dementias. Oxidization is when oxygen reacts with a substance. Just think of fruit. You've taken a bite out of apple and it starts going brown. You take the banana peel off and it starts going brown. That's oxidization. When things oxidize, whether it's your cells in your body, they produce free radicals. Free radicals are very reactive and attack. They are not good. They cause damage. So in your brain, you've got these special cells that try to neutralize free radicals. Brain is actually one of the organs that uses the most energy in your body. So to turn that fuel, the body's glucose, into energy, there's a lot of byproducts formed from that, and hence you're going to get a lot of free radicals. So your brain has a lot of neutralizing cells for these byproducts and free radicals. So if your lifestyle is poor and these cells aren't able to neutralize these free radicals, then damage starts to occur in your brain, and then therefore you start to get Alzheimer's disease. Glucose dysregulation is another one, and I have my notes here in case you see me peeking at them. Insulin resistance is a precursor to diabetes type 2, and those are all forms of glucose dysregulation. So with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, basically you have an abundance of glucose in your cells, and for whatever reason your insulin is the carrier of the glucose into the cells. So the insulin levels rise with the glucose levels, but it's not able to get into the cells to utilize it. And what ends up happening is your cells are starving even though there's an abundance of glucose in the bloodstream. So with the high levels of insulin in your bloodstream, you get more inflammation, more oxidization causing more free radicals, You also get lipid, like fat dysregulation, and also the creation of tau proteins. The next one is lipid dysregulation. That's basically you're not able to regulate the fat in your body. Fat accumulates in your bloodstream and they stick to the walls of your blood vessel, causing plaques. What happens is that the blood vessels get narrower and narrower and the blood flow is impeded. Sometimes these plaques break off and cause complete blockages. So you can have this happening anywhere. You've heard, heart attacks can be a result of plaques in the arteries causing decreased blood flow to the heart. Same thing happens in your brain. One of these plaques that can form is the amyloid plaque, and those are very strongly related to Alzheimer's disease. So as you can see, all these four things, the inflammation, oxidization, glucose dysregulation, lipid dysregulation, all very interconnected and can be affected by lifestyle greatly. There is one difference in early onset Alzheimer's disease. When somebody gets Alzheimer's in their 40s or even 50s, like my aunt did, amyloid plaques and the tau protein seems to be more of a driver for the disease than these other processes. Amyloid proteins are a breakdown of larger proteins. They clump together and disrupt the cell's communication. They also disrupt the cell's function. Tau proteins form tangles between the brain cells, the neurons, and cause the communication system to fail in the brain. So that's why you see the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease is the inability to form language, not able to remember, and eventually the inability to walk, to feed themselves and things like that. In my mom's case, she went from forgetting to her speech. She just quieted right down, then she couldn't remember words. She couldn't remember to eat. She wasn't feeding herself. And then after that, she went the opposite way. She couldn't stop eating. She thought she'd never eaten, and just everything in sight she'd devour. The good news with all these things is that they have seen that lifestyle plays such an important part in Alzheimer's disease. As you can tell from those four things, they are a lot in your control. Key is to remember to have a healthy lifestyle years before you probably even are thinking about dementia. But if it's something that's in your family, it's something to consider. Not only are you going to be able to prevent Alzheimer's disease, but you're going to be so much healthier. So that's the good thing. In this video, I show you what lifestyle goals I am trying to work on to prevent Alzheimer's disease in myself. Have a great week. Bye.